Hello, my name is Gary. This is my daughter, C. Grace. C. Grace was the first child to receive gene therapy in the United States. She was diagnosed in March of 2020 at the age of 3 years old. It is really amazing how we found out she had EMLD. She started complaining of her belly hurting. We thought it was gas or constipation. One Saturday night, she started vomiting. The next morning, she was laid over in the floor, holding her stomach, complaining of severe pain. She was taken to the local emergency department where they did a CT scan that appeared to have fluid and gallstones in her gallbladder. She was transferred to Children's Hospital of Alabama in Birmingham, where they did surgery the next morning. The surgeon come out and advised us that there was a large mass inside her gallbladder and that it was going to be sent to pathology for further testing. The report come back from pathology within a couple weeks, and it come back of a neoplasm inside the mass that was associated with a disease called metachromatic leukodystrophy. We were in disbelief. My wife and I cried. We did what most parents would do. We Googled metachromatic leukodystrophy. We were devastated because we thought we were going to lose our daughter at such a young age. We went for further testing for genetics. 2 weeks later, we got the horrible news. Testing confirmed that she did test positive for metachromatic leukodystrophy. But as it turns out, we discovered the disease early on. There was a treatment available called gene therapy. This is incredibly rare for the disease to be found this early with a non-symptomatic child. Most families find out about the disease after an older sibling has tested positive for MLD and had symptoms. All the MLD families before us had to travel to Milan, Italy for a clinical trial. But in October of 2020, Dr. Nath contacted us, our neurologist contacted us and said, "What if I told you your daughter was going to make history books?" The neurologist told us that C. Grace was going to be the first child in the United States to receive gene therapy for MLD. So we packed our bags and traveled almost 1,000 miles to get the treatment in Minnesota at the Masonic Children's Hospital. After her cells went to Italy to be repaired, C. Grace underwent 4 days of chemotherapy. Most of her side effects was from the chemotherapy, such as hair loss, fatigue, sores in her mouth. After the infusion of her new cells, we stayed in hospital for about a month. She was uncomfortable for a while after the high dose of chemotherapy, but she started recovering after a couple weeks. While we're nervous wrecks throughout the treatment, we were also amazed to see our little girl bounce back so quickly to herself. Our story is different from other stories you will probably hear. Most kids do not have the time before it's too late for them to qualify for gene therapy. We were lucky to catch this early on. C. Grace has not had no symptoms of the horrible disease and hopefully never will. After her checkup in January, her enzyme levels were even on the higher end of the normal scale. We are now 1 year out from C. Grace's gene therapy, and she is doing great. It took a few months for her to get back to her normal self, but since then, she is a normal, happy 5-year-old child thanks to gene therapy.